Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids across the galaxy, to our December 2020 all Zetas ranked in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes from best to worst. And I guess in some ways you could look at this list as the best Zetas of all of 2020. As always, thank you guys so much for the views and the likes that you gave on the last time we did this video. Now, as you guys always know, there's going to be a link down below in the video description if you want to get access to my spreadsheet that ranks every single character's Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And furthermore, in case you do not know, we also rank the Zeta order for characters. I always get these questions: what Zeta should I give the X, Y, or Z character first? And we indicate that on this chart. You're going to see a parentheses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on how many Zetas a character has. And as you're going to see, I'm going to spoil it right now. I want to kind of talk about my personal favorite Zetas for the quarter, and you're gonna see it right up here. Guess call it your trendy Zetas for the quarter. The last time I made this video, not too much has happened in Galaxy Heroes except shard economy changes, but of course we have the challenge tier Rancor raid, which has showed up and is forcing us to think of new teams to tackle that raid. But furthermore, in terms of characters being added, we got IH-11 Quill, which were needed to unlock the brand new Beskar Armor Mandalorian, which just happened last week. So that also was a significant thing. And of course, Moth Gideon as well, which is kind of being seen as a mini Wattam board to a degree. And speaking of Moth Gideon, why don't we take a look at our Bronzium section? And we're going to skip over Carbonite. Not much happens in Carbonite. Once you're in Carbonite, you're pretty much frozen until either a rework or a character revitalize you. But in Bronzium, we're going to talk about Moth Gideon first, because he has a pretty lackluster Zeta that I am almost certain is going to get better in the future, and that Zeta is going to be his leader ability, Tactical Deployment. But this Zeta is not really all that amazing just yet. Moth Gideon is great with Imperial Troopers, don't get me wrong. He's at the point where he's not really adding much to Imperial Troopers, and his leader ability is extremely limited if you do not have the proper Imperial Trooper lineup with the right amount of supports, tanks, and attackers. This leader ability is basically null and void and can't be used. And right now we're missing some characters, and I'm almost certain we're going to be expecting a couple of new troopers for season 2 of Mandalorian characters, which are coming soon to Galaxy of Heroes. Right now, the Zeta is just not that amazing. He is not the best Imperial Trooper leader, and if he does win with Imperial Troopers, it's just because Imperial Troopers were already amazing with General Veers before Moth Gideon. So I would recommend stay away from the Zeta for now. It's just an okay leader ability for the Imperial Troopers. You're going to get way more bang for your buck from General Veers if you want the best Imperial Trooper team, which is why it's in my top 10 favorite Zetas for the quarter. Let's talk about IG-11 for a moment and take a look at the Chromium Tier of our Zeta list, which really, the Chromium Zetas are fairly decent Zetas that can get even better if they're paired up with the right team. And the Zeta we're going to talk about here is IG-11's child's favorite. Now, IG-11 without the Zeta is a very solid character for Scoundrels, for droids. He's got a good degree of plug-and-play viability. We see him a lot with Rey if you don't have Beskar Armor Mando yet. And the child's favorite Zeta really kind of builds upon what he does very well with constantly cleansing the team. Now, he already cleanses the Scoundrels and droids even without the Zeta, but you can take it a step further by throwing the amount of debuffs that were on your team onto the opposing team in the forms of damage over time. And this is kind of fun and a lot of PvE things. For example, I used it in a Galactic Challenge not too long ago, and with him constantly throwing the debuffs back on the other team, it cripples the opposing team. And this is also helpful in Geonosis territories. If you're fortunate enough to have Beskar Armor Mando, this is going to help in those marathon type events. As he's cleansing your team, he's going to throw it on the opposing team. It's not a must-have Zeta on him, but it is a solid Zeta nonetheless, because it's a good Zeta worthy of a Chromium ranking. But what I really want to do is take a little bit of a deeper dive in the Rhodium Tier of our Zetas. These Zetas are very good Zetas. When you're looking for Zetas to add in Galaxy Heroes to your roster, you really want to spend most of your Zetas in the Rhodium and the Kyber Tier. And then once you have that freedom, definitely start looking into those Chromium Zetas and possibly Bronzium Zetas. But a good majority, I want to say 70% plus of your Zetas, need to be in the Rhodium and the Kyber territory. New to this list is Quill and Beskar Armor Mandalorian. Now, Quill's Frontier Wisdom is a very good Zeta because he shares his stats with the team. There are a couple of factions in 2020 that got a lot of help. One of them being the Scoundrel faction between the normal non-Beskar armor Mando with the help of Grief Karga, and now with the addition of Quill. Even if you don't have Beskar armor Mandalorian yet, Quill's being used in a lot of lineups because he's making them more survivable. Throw him in a boss lineup, throw him in an Aura Sing lineup. Yes, the turn meter gain through Eye of Spoken is a very solid capability, but keeping your team alive as long as possible, giving off 40% of his max health, offense, and potency to the team, as well as increasing their max protection by 40% of Quill's max protection. You can't go wrong because in a way, this is kind of like the 3PO and Chewie, the Mon Mothma for the scoundrels out there. So if you're trying to pull off big plays, want to try to make your teams faster and more durable and stronger, Quill's going to really help you out even without the use of the Beskar armor Mandalorian. And of course, it goes without saying, we're not looking at the character review as much in this video today, but paired with IG-11, this combo is a deadly combo. It's almost like a Han and Chewie combo with Quill and IG-11 on the field. Also new to the Rhodium branch is going to be the Beskar armor Mandalorian, the latest journey event in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and right now he seems to be a very solid B+, potentially A- grade character. He's not breaking the meta, he's not shaking things up too much, but he's a decent all-around character that inevitably will have a bigger future in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes with the addition of Season 2 characters coming, one of which is the armor, as we are told already, but there are a lot of Season 2 characters we can easily speculate about. We'll talk more about that in a different video, but in terms of Zetas, a lot of people have been asking, what Zetas would I give to the Beskar armor Mandalorian first? And without a doubt in my mind, Protective Intuition is going to be the first one you're going to want to give. And then secondly, if you do want to go further, which still is a solid, very good Zeta, which I've gotten a lot of use out of, especially in Geonosis Terror Threats, and I assume in Grand Arena will also get a lot of viability out of it, is going to be a Seasoned Tactics leader ability, which should be the second Zeta you apply to him at some point, both of which are in the Rhodium tier. But the reason why I'm recommending Protective Intuition first is because he's going to be a decent plug-and-play character as long as there's scoundrels involved, and one of which, one of the best combos we've seen so far, is Beskar armor Mandalorian with Galactic Legends Ray. And this is extremely deadly because the most important thing about it is that firstly, he's going to cleanse himself in case a scoundrel ally falls below 75% health. He's going to dispel all debuffs on himself. It doesn't help you if he's stunned. If he's stunned by Han Solo, you want him to quickly take a turn, cleanse himself, and quickly use Wonder of the Force. And through Wonder of the Force, he's going to constantly cleanse the team. He's going to be constantly equalizing protection. He's going to remove turn meter from the enemy. But the most important thing probably that we all can agree on is the damage immunity. The second someone's falling a little bit too low, you're going to give them the damage immunity, which is going to be great in a Beskar armor Mandalorian lead or with Galactic Legends Ray. It's going to be probably the best Zeta overall because he can be used outside of the leader, and this is going to get you the most bang for your buck out of him. But of course, I don't want to downplay Seasoned Tactics. Scoundrel allies gaining 2% turn meter anytime an enemy's being damaged. It doesn't matter who's doing the damage, as long as they're damaging the enemy, your scoundrels are going to get turn meter. And one of the things we're kind of seeing, the main theme with the Mandalorian here, the Beskar armor version that is you want to create a team when he's leading that is more focused on AoE damage, and there's a lot of them. We see veteran Smuggler Han Solo, we see Cara Dune, we see Enfys Nest, we see Cander's Ordo, we see Mission constantly assisting, using her basic, Zalbar using an AoE ability. And what that means, assuming there's 5 enemies on the field, is every time an AoE is being spammed, you're getting a 10% turn meter boost and possibly more. For example, Geonosis Terror Threats, or up against things like Mon Moth or Rebel Fighters or Geonosis, because they have multiple enemies, which means more turn meter for your scoundrels. So we talked about tactical deployment of Moth, which is kind of a lukewarm Zeta right now. I wouldn't recommend it for the time being, but I do recommend Control the Situation. Moff Gideon is kind of turning out to be a mini version of Wat Tambor. Wat Tambor, what does he do? He feeds turn meter to your team. He gives you a blast tech weapon mod to put out more damage. He gives you tech to help you survive a bit longer. Well, what does Moff Gideon do? Well, he controls turn meter on the opposed team. He is the fastest non-Galactic Legends character in Galaxy Heroes, so 9 out of 10 times he's going to outrun opposing teams remove their turn meter. But the reason why the Zeta is so good on him is because he's being used in so many different lineups. Yeah, you can use with Imperial Troopers, but in my opinion, Imperial Troopers are actually better without Moth Gideon right now, and you're better off using Moth Gideon with your Darth Vader team to counter Galactic Legends. Or, as you guys may have seen, I've used them with bounty hunters like Aura Singh and Mandalorian, the non-Beskar armor version that is, and we've even used them with Darth Revan. His purpose is because he's so fast, in the situation where you're outmodded for your team in general. Like one time I came across a Bossk and Django team that was just faster than my Darth Revan by a couple points. Well, Moth Gideon gets in there, pulls back the bounty hunter turn meter, feeds you turn meter, and it kind of is the counter to fast speed sets in Galaxy of Heroes, and allows you to really set up a powerful opening by triggering tanks to taunt for 2 turns. It doesn't matter what type of tank. It's not Imperial tanks, any tanks whatsoever. So if you have a Darth Sign, he's gonna make him taunt. If you have a Darth Malik, he's gonna make him taunt. So it's almost like Wat Tambor, giving that tank tech mod to force a tank to taunt. To a certain degree, Moth Gideon's doing the same. He's also giving a massive 50% offense boost to all attacker allies. Again, not constrained to the Empire faction. And the other thing is he's gonna give support allies an extra 100% protection up, which I found extremely useful, especially when countering raid. Now, his demoralized unique ability, surprisingly enough, no Zeta attached that, he already reduces damage through demoralize. Well, getting protection up on your support characters I have found to be incredibly important for characters like Grand Admiral Thrawn. The whole modding structure for Grand Admiral Thrawn is make him survive as long as possible, high protection, high speed, and high health sets if possible. And getting protection will help things like Grand Admiral Thrawn survive way longer. So the reason why I'm advocating for the Zeta is not because he's a great plug and play character, the fastest non-Galactic Legends characters, but because not a lot of people have access to Wat Tambor. He's going to be kind of the next best thing after Wat Tambor due to his speed and due to the fact he is a plug-and-play dream. And in our Kyber tier, we don't have any new Zetas showing up, or no Zetas moved up, no Zetas moved down. These are still the most important Kyber level Zetas, the best of the best Zetas in Star Wars Galaxy that you guys really should be striving for. But what I want to talk about now to start wrapping up this video are my top 10 favorite Zetas for the quarter. Now, these are by no means the best Zetas for the quarter. Of course, that's reserved to the Kyber and the Rhodium tiers, but a lot of these Zetas are from those 2 tiers. But furthermore, these are the Zetas I'm kind of using the most, or I like the most, from the quarter. And with that said, that is going to wrap up our best Zetas of December 2020, or the best Zetas of all of 2020, however you want to look at it. Again, links down below in the video description if you want access to this spreadsheet, which will rank all the Zetas currently in Galaxies and the Zeta Order. So in case you don't know what are the better Zetas for a particular character, I want to make sure you guys have this resource. As always, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below on all your thoughts. What are your favorite Zetas for the quarter? Would love to hear those amazing thoughts, and always be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing, because as we always say here, it's great to be in the Empire today.